Hey, what is up, everyone? Today I'm doing something that I haven't done in quite some time here on this channel, probably years at this point, and that is going to be talking about a toy, an action figure. As you can see here from the title of this article, it says NECA Toys releases its first King Kong figure in time for Godzilla vs. Kong. Now, I'll go ahead, as always, and link this in the description below so you guys can check out this article for yourselves if you want. Yeah, this is a movie that I've been very excited for, of course. I've been talking about it here on the channel for those of you that have been tuning in, of course, the last couple weeks. Been talking about it a little bit more. As we all know, it's a movie that's been delayed once already. I don't know with what's going on in the world right now with the protest and with the virus, if that's going to prolong it even more. But I didn't have a problem when they initially said that they were going to go ahead and push it back. I was just kind of like, well, shucks. But you know what? Maybe that's an opportunity to improve on this movie, because so far the entries in Legendary Pictures Monsterverse, I think, have steadily improved. I think it's fair to say that, because starting with Godzilla 2014, which is a movie that I don't really care about, I don't think it's the worst thing ever, but for me it was never the kind of redemption that it should have been. Right after Godzilla 1998, I still didn't feel they were there yet, but with Kong Skull Island, that kind of started to give me hope. And then Godzilla King of the Monsters is where I was kind of finally like coming around and saying, you know what, they're starting to head in the right direction, or at least that's the way I felt about it. And I'm excited for this. This is a rematch that people have been waiting for what, like a little over 50 years at this point. So it'll be cool to see these two icons, I guess, of giant monster movies finally tussle once again. So I'm excited to see that finally NECA is doing a King Kong figure. Surprisingly, they hadn't done one before. For years, people were wondering, because for years now, NECA has been doing Godzilla figures. They've done the 1954 version of Godzilla, a space Godzilla versus Godzilla version of Godzilla. They've done even Shin Godzilla, right? They've had a NECA Shin Godzilla, but they had never done a King Kong figure, and people have been waiting for this. So this is exciting for those of you that have been patiently waiting for NECA to finally hear you, and here we have it. So we'll go ahead and read this article here, and then I'll give some thoughts, as I always do, along the way. So fans who reportedly have wanted New Jersey-based licensed merchandise purveyor, the National Entertainment Collectibles Association, or NECA for short, to make a King Kong figure all these years won't have to wait any longer. The company will release this year an 8-inch scale action figure of the 8th wonder of the world. That's a little interesting, right? Specifically. NECA is proud to add another kaiju to its collection, reads the overview of the item on their website. It continues. At long last, King Kong will be joining NECA's action figure line. The figure is an original take on the classic gorilla from the 1933 film, though it resembles his Monsterverse counterpart a bit more than Willis O'Brien's stop-motion model. And make no mistake, I'm pretty sure that once they get this off and running, you'll end up seeing a 1933 Godzilla. You might even see one from the King Kong versus Godzilla movie at some point. Heck, you might even see one from what's that movie, King Kong Escapes? Maybe. I mean, that might be a little bit wishful thinking, because a lot of people don't like that movie. But we could potentially also see one from Peter Jackson's movie. What was it? The 2005, 2006 King Kong movie. We could end up seeing one there. I mean, there's not as many iterations of Kong as there is of Godzilla. So maybe there might be like 4 or 5. There's not as much of a variety, but let's continue on here. A super detailed design. It features 30 points of articulation. Cool. Battle wounds across Kong's body and intricate looking hair sculpts. It also comes with 2 detachable and changeable heads and a set of hands. The heads display the giant ape stages of mid-war, one very intimidating and one a tad less intimidating. The hands included are 1 pair of open palms and another of closed fists. You can swap and rearrange them in 6 different combos: 2 fists, 2 open hands, 1 of each, whichever you like. View the gallery of King Kong in several poses below or on NECA's site here. So here we have somebody posing him, beating his chest. And you can see here the articulation here in the wrist. Of course, with NECA, that's always been a thing. They've always been pretty good. Some figures that they've released have looked more like statues at times, with very limited kind of articulation. But with some of the Godzilla figures, they've had a good degree of articulation. Obviously, with Kong, you're going to have even more so, because with Godzilla, you know, they put the spikes and stuff on the back, the tail, and all that. It's going to limit the amount of articulation that they could put maybe to other parts of the body because of it. So this is cool. We see him here in that pose. Here's another shot of him. Looks like beating his chest here. That's cool. I always love when they do they put a little bit of a background here. They put him into a little set, I guess, to take these pictures. So that's really cool. But obviously, yeah, this is the Kong that we remember from Kong Skull Island. I'm pretty sure he's going to look relatively the same, except probably maybe a little bit older. In the movie, maybe his fur will be a little bit darker, is what I would expect. But this one looks like Kong from Skull Island Kong. But you see all the different pictures here and all the different poses. So it's looking pretty good, I think. This is definitely one I'm going to be picking up because I do have some of the NECA Godzilla figures. Like, and I've had Shin Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla 1954. You know, anytime they come out with one, I usually pick them up just to have the variety of the different ones from the different movie eras. So, and then we see here a little bit more detailed. You can see more up close how his hands and stuff are going to look. The different head sculpts for him. So I think it looks great, you know. And then we see here, just to show that he is 8 inches and how big, how open, how big that hand would, it could fit a quarter in it. So, but let's continue on here. Founded in 2002, NECA began by creating collectibles for the most recognizable slasher genre villains and characters such as Jason, Freddy, and Michael Myers. It's interesting about that too, because I always equated that to kind of how McFarlane got his start, because one of the very first lines that McFarlane did for McFarlane Toys was that horror theme line he did. Of course, he had I think it was called Movie Maniacs, if I'm not mistaken, where he had like Edward Scissorhands, you know, he had Ash from Evil Dead, he had Freddy, Jason, and all that, Michael Myers. He did kind of the same thing, and that's what kind of got him off and running to the races, outside of course, you know, Spawn. But I thought that it was interesting that NECA kind of they took kind of the same approach when they went ahead and started by doing things kind of following the same kind of playbook as McFarlane Toys. So they also made a figure of Sam, the creature from Godzilla, King of the Monsters director Michael Dougherty's debut, or Dougherty, however you would say that, debut feature Trick or Treat, which was co-produced like the MonsterVerse entry by Legendary Pictures and Warner Brothers. NECA now boasts several familiar IPs, including Back to the Future, Predator, and TMNT. The sculpt designs, two of that other Titan King Godzilla designs in their catalog, are inspired by every generation of the Toho icon up to the legendary WB films. Check them all out here, which they link. NECA does not have the license to produce GVK tie-in figures. The privilege belongs to Playmates. Interesting. I did not know that. Kong debuted in the 30s and became an icon the world over. He was revived and reinvented in just about every decade after, turning into one of the longest-running film franchises ever. This puts him right up there with his incoming opponent, whom he faces for the second time in history in Godzilla vs. Kong this November. NECA's King Kong figure is available in September. So yeah, that's definitely going to be a buy for me to finally get a King Kong NECA figure. That's great. Of course, there's been various other King Kong figures through different companies, but yeah, this will be the first time that NECA is going to go ahead and give us their treatment of the most well-known giant ape in film cinema history, or in film history, I should say. So that's going to be a lot of fun. What do you guys think of this figure, though? Is it something that would interest you as a collector? And of course, if you guys want to talk a little bit more about Godzilla vs. Kong and the results of that epic battle, let me know in the comment section below. And yeah, until next time, I guess I'll catch you guys on the next video. I'll probably be live streaming later on this evening, so if you guys want to go ahead and join me for that, just be on the lookout with the notifications. For those of you that aren't getting the notifications, make sure you're hitting that notification bell. And you should probably also follow me on social media if that is, if you have social media, of course. Follow me on there, because I always do announce when I'll be going live on these streams. So if you guys want to come in, join the chat, depending on what the topic is, usually after I cover whatever the topic of the stream is, I'll get into whatever random Q&A and have whatever discussion you guys like to have. So be sure to check that out. And yeah, until next time, take care. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a like, share, and comment below.